A long time ago, in a faraway African kingdom, there lived a great king named Akum Efuna. He was loved by all his people because he was kind and just. His queen, Obegeri, was the most beautiful and gentle woman in the land. Everyone admired them, and their love was strong. But there was only one thing missing in their lives. They had no child. For many years, Queen Obegeri prayed and cried, asking the gods to bless her with a child. Whenever the queen lies on her bed to sleep, she will start thinking of her predicament. The queen woke up feeling strange months later. She found out that she was with child. The kingdom rejoiced, and the king declared a festival to celebrate the coming of his heir. But when the baby girl was born, the joy turned into whisper. The princess had the softest skin, as smooth as silk, and her hair as dark as the midnight sky. But her eyes, they were empty. She did not see the faces of those who held her. The healer confirmed what the people feared. The princess was blind. The king and queen loved her the same. They named her Princess Ndidi. But happiness does not last forever. When Ndidi was only 3 years old, tragedy struck. The kingdom of Oshimiri was filled with sorrow when Queen Obegeri fell ill. The palace healer did everything they could, but her sickness grew worse. The king stayed by her side, holding her hands, whispering words of love and comfort. One cold evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, Queen Obegeri took her last breath. The whole kingdom mourned. The people wept for their kind queen, but no one wept louder than little Princess Ndidi. Though she could not see, she could feel that her mother was gone. She called out for her, but there was no answer. King Akumefuna was heartbroken. He did not eat for days, and the palace felt empty. But the leaders of the kingdom told him, a king must not remain alone. The princess needs a mother. So after a year, the king took another wife. Her name was Lady Adobe. She was a woman of great beauty, but behind her pretty face was a heart as dark as the night. She did not love the king, and she certainly did not love Ndidi. She had 2 daughters of her own, Adako and Adanna, who were just as cruel as their mother. At first, Lady Adobe pretended to be kind. She smiled at the king and spoke sweet words. But when the king was not looking, her true colors showed. She hated Princess Ndidi. She could not understand why the king loved a blind child so much. She is useless, she would always say. What can a blind girl do in a palace? Her daughters Adako and Adanna laughed. She cannot even see the food she eats. Lady Adobe and her 2 daughters would always mock Ndidi because of her blindness. Maybe we should take her food away. She will not know where it is. At first, the mistreatment was difficult to notice. Lady Adobe did not want the king to notice, so she played her wicked game in secret. Princess Ndidi, though blind, had a bright spirit. She loved to hum sweet melodies and play in the garden where her mother once sat. But soon, her joyful moment was stolen. One morning, Ndidi went to the dining hall, following the familiar scent of fresh bread. She reached out for her seat, but it was gone. Adanna and Adako had pushed the chair away. Ndidi felt the air with her hands, confused. Ndidi asked where her chair was. Lady Adobe, pretending not to know what happened, told Ndidi to go find her chair by herself. But before she could move, Adanna pushed her from the back and she fell. Ndidi fell hard on the floor. Adanna and Adako started laughing out loud. The blind princess falls like a sack of yam. Ndidi, trying not to cry, she did not want to look weak. She got up slowly. Lady Adobe clapped her hands together. No need to cry, my dear. Accident happens. Now eat your food if you can find it. When Ndidi got up, her bowl of porridge had been pushed far away. She could smell it, but no matter how much she reached her fingers, her hands found nothing. Perhaps the blind princess does not need to eat, Adanna said, mocking Ndidi. Ndidi sat quietly waiting, hoping maybe her father would come. Maybe someone would help. But no one did. As the days passed, the torment grew worse. Ndidi dresses were stolen, leaving her with torn rags. Her slippers disappeared, forcing her to walk on the hot stone in the courtyard. And worst of all, whenever she tried to sing or laugh, Adanna and Adako would hiss, "Silent, blind girl, you are nothing." But Ndidi was nothing. She was the daughter of a queen. And deep inside her heart, she knew one day the gods would see her pain. But for now, the darkness around her was not just in her eyes, it was everywhere. Ndidi's suffering grew with each passing day, but her father, King Akumefuna, saw none of it. Lady Adobe was clever. She made sure to act like a loving mother whenever the king was near. "My king," she would say, "your daughter is my daughter. I love her as if she were my own." And when the king asked, "Indeed, my child, are you happy?" she could only nod. She was too afraid to tell the truth. One evening, the king returned from a long journey. He had brought gifts for everyone in the palace. For indeed, he had a beautiful golden necklace with tiny bells that jangled softly. Lady Adobe watched with narrowed eyes, a gift for her. That night, when the king had gone to sleep, Lady Adobe called her daughters into her chamber. She held the golden necklace in her hands. "Why would a blind girl wear gold when my daughters wear nothing but beads?" They planned how to take the gold from Ndidi. The next morning, Ndidi woke up to a sharp yank on her neck. The necklace was gone. Ndidi found that the necklace was no longer on her neck. Adanna and Adako threw the necklace across the room, laughing as Ndidi crawled on the floor, searching with her small hands. Every time she got close, away. Then she felt it. Her finger brushed the gold metal. But as she closed her hands around it, they took it far away from her.